So let's just get settled and in a nice sort of comfortable meditation seat. So most of you are sitting at a desk, I'm assuming. Some are, I don't think anyone's sitting cross-legged, right? Is anyone? No. Oh, you are. Kathleen is. Okay. So, Kathleen, you've probably got nice long legs, so you can put a couple of cushions underneath each knee if your hips are tight. But the important thing is to be on top of your sits bones, whether you're sitting in a cross-legged position or if you're sitting with your legs down. Because if you're sitting behind your sits bones, so just try it, see what happens. If you sit behind your sits bones, you're leaning into your sacrum, and so it throws your whole spine out. So if you're sitting on top of your sits bones, you immediately straighten out, shoulders over the hips. See, that looks really nice, Kathleen. I can see you all sitting up straight. That's perfect. And what that does is it just allows, first of all, the energy in the body to flow a little bit more easily. The blood also, the oxygen. So when you're all kind of out of alignment and you're constricted and you're sitting kind of like slumped over, of course, your organs aren't able to work as effectively. Your breathing is affected. So we just open ourselves out, lengthen ourselves. Hands in a nice, comfortable position in our laps. Notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And relax the scalp and the crown of the head and the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, that area around the mouth. Relax the back of the head by where the occipital bone is. Relax the jaw, the temples, the back of the tongue. Then move down to your neck and shoulders and just allow them to drop down. And relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And then bring the mind to the breath again. Just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then be aware of any sounds in your environment. So perhaps it's people in your house, your apartment. Perhaps it's pets. Perhaps it's traffic outside. So just allow those sounds to be there, and you just can have them fade off into the distance. And then notice the thoughts that are arising. And you could have excited, happy thoughts. Maybe you're having sad thoughts. Maybe you're a bit distracted. But, one way we can deal with these thoughts that always sometimes feel so incredibly overwhelming is to categorize them. Take a little step back, be a bit more objective, see yourself as some kind of a scientific observer, just watching what's going on in the mind. You can think, I'm remembering, or here I am planning, just as an example. Then just put yourself on the bank of your river and notice again the quality of the water as it flows by. Is the water clear, or is it muddy, or does it have bits of debris in it? Whatever is going on in that water, as long as you're sitting on the bank, you're free from it, not getting swept away by it. So now bring to mind all the people of your life, your beloveds, your loved ones, your best friends. These people in our lives, some of us are known for many years, just even sometimes a short time, but we still seem to have these deep and profound and beautiful, sweet connections with people. And then there's those people in our life who we find really irritating, or maybe they've even harmed us. And then there are strangers. And due to the nature of this impermanent kind of environment we live in, constant change, these relationships can shift and change. And maybe that's happened to you. And think, however, despite what you think of them, all these people are equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And let's have a big thought, a big heart, send lots of love, even though she's here, to our dear Hin, who's got some medical things coming up next week. So just keep her in your heart. And I know you all are. So remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this, remembering this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind, and therefore we can actually change that. We are the ones that have the power to change. And we do this purification practice applying the four opponent powers. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we're experiencing everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we have two sections here: refuge and developing compassion. So we turn to this Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor rather than sort of a god or a higher power that we're sort of asking to forgive us somehow. It's not this creator that's going to fix everything. This is Buddha Vajrasattva, and he is on the crown of your head. He's made of light. So just try and get a sense of this Buddha on the crown of your head. And if you have a teacher, you can also imagine that this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So imagine he's there. He's sitting in a cross-legged position on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has this sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents a union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we do need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think of those who've harmed you and have compassion for them because they're going to suffer as the result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and we start with the body, purifying the body. So imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And this arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kurum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next, the purification of our speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown quite forcefully. And it fills your entire body, except this time it forces up to the top of your body all of the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. And so just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, even yourself, because you will hear it all. So the next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately, very kindly sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. This arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and grudges and jealousy, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Excuse me. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa, satukaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe. So be delighted now that all your delusions, and these are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. Just imagine these are completely purified. They're finished. And now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And we can imagine that Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. So now you're completely purified and there's not one atom of negativity in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one, this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And we're sort of without making a decision that we want to refrain from harming or that we don't want to harm, we will keep doing the same old habits, engaging in the same old things over and over again, whether it's gossiping, whether it's swearing, whether it's being sarcastic, whether it's having fun at somebody else's expense, whether it's killing things accidentally, particularly if you've taken a vow not to, whether it's negative self-talk, just kind of running ourselves down all the time. Oh, you're so stupid. Oh, I should have never done that. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't speak to a 2-year-old that way because you would hurt their feelings or you would upset them in somehow. So some of the things that we say to ourselves, maybe you can notice Oh, I think I'm going to refrain from that because it's harmful to me. So just think of something that you've been working on and then also rejoice in your efforts. Coming here now almost 3 years. It's incredible, really. That takes a lot of commitment. So rejoice in your effort. Rejoice in the changes that might possibly be happening in your life as a result of your effort. Your effort. You're the one that's doing it. And just work on something over the weekend. Keep it simple. Doesn't have to be a big deal. Just maybe reflect every now and then. And also think about journaling your progress. You can look back and see how far you've come. So now imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, and he melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And just so think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So you kind of merge. And then there's this little bit on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for just a moment. We can think of all things as being empty, a bunch of causes and conditions. They do not exist from their own side. And you can think also the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so if any of you have His Holiness the Dalai Lama as a teacher, so just maybe make a strong wish for His Holiness to live a long time, have a very long life. Perhaps some of you have His Holiness Karmapa or His Holiness Sakatrinzin. So, any of your lamas, the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the unmistaken in reincarnation, and then just continue. Any of your teachers, wish for them to have a long life. Okay, everybody, lots of love. Good night. Sleep well. Barbara, do your friends want to say goodbye to everybody?